What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. Guys, I mean my humble self, Shegu. It's great to have you here. It's Monday, and as usual, we are here to talk about Manchester United. So guys, quickly, we had a game yesterday. A very important win in terms of the win against Fulham. 3-2 win against Fulham, and we've done the analysis of that game. How that the game really posed a lot of problems, a lot of situations that we managed some of them very well. Some of them we struggled with, but ultimately we got the necessary 3 points. And I think we did the analysis in the sense of the areas we need to improve upon, right? And I think that has also brought about partly about what we want to discuss today. As you guys know that we always try to make our Monday shows to always try to be futuristic, right? So we talk about what we are doing currently. We recognize what we are doing currently, but we also try and plot a graph about what we can do in the future. You know, and today what we want to do is to talk about the profiles we think this team needs. The profiles we believe this team needs immediately. I think we're not going to be mentioning names yet, so it's something that we're also going to evolve in terms of more analysis, but we have to talk about the profiles and clearly define the profiles that are needed. And in the course of the discussion, we cannot address the latest news. We don't know how true it is because the media does what they do. They do what they'd like to do again when it comes to Manchester United, and the fan base is that they write a lot of things that nobody actually takes responsibility for. You know, people just come up with different stories. But one of the stories that has come out in the media space is the potential return of Marcus Rashford if Michael Carrick becomes a permanent manager. So we want to look at that scenario in terms of, should we get him back? Should we let him go? All those discussions we want to have is about Marcus Rashford, but we also majorly want to talk about the profiles that we need moving forward as a team. So now I think obviously Michael Carrick has done a very good job. 3 wins out of 3 in the second time out in terms of fantastic win against Manchester City. Very mentality driven and very clinical win against Arsenal. I think also very dogged and very disciplined and solid win against Fulham. So we want to also look at the fact that, and we are tentatively looking at it, that with what we see, there are 3 areas we need to strengthen compulsorily. Other areas, we can look at them. They might be supplementary, but there are 3 areas of our team we need to improve upon. And the first for me is the goalkeeper position. Now, when I mean the goalkeeper position, I'm not saying to bring a number 1 in. You guys know I've always been constantly praising Lamens. I believe looking at his composure, because there are a lot of things about Lamens that people do not recognize. And I think we've said it many times here. Yeah, I know the saves are beginning to show, but the fact is the calm, the composure, the level-headedness that a goalkeeper has is always a very good trait. And that's why you can also remember that I was not in support of Emilio Martinez coming to the club, not because he's not a good goalkeeper, not because he's not one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper in terms of the ratings at a point, but the fact of that you need a goalkeeper that is level-headed. A goalkeeper position is a position that's level-headed, but not just that. Looking at Lamens, I know he has the saver there, which a goalkeeper of his age grows into his role. So you don't want to just say, let's bring a full-time, a first choice goalkeeper, and then Lamens will learn. Goalkeepers don't learn that way. Goalkeepers learn by playing every single game. It's not a position you can do that much rotation, right? So the best way for Lamens to grow is to keep playing him, right? The moment you play him, he gets better, right? So I think that is that. But I think a lot of the qualities that he has that I am so much happy about, and I've said it before, is one of the fact that they come on the composure, which I just said now, but also the fact that he is double-footed. There is nothing that it makes me so much happy about that guy, more than that thing I just mentioned, the double-footed. And I've seen him since when he came in, the fact that it is difficult to press Lamens. We cannot say this against the previous goalkeeper, the goalkeeper before, that's Andre Onana. We couldn't say that about him. And I think these are the areas where clearly it appears to be an improvement in terms of the ability for him to use his right and his left. So no matter how you want to press him, he always has a way out. And hardly would you even see that sometimes his clearances or his build up or what have you goes away, goes out. So the guy has, yes, maybe it's not 100% accurate delivery, but the fact is that majority of his balls stay in play. He stays in play. And I think it's going to get better on a lot of things, obviously. A lot of things. It's going to get better. But he has been a very, very good signing. And when I saw it from the first time, I just knew this guy, yes, has what it takes. But the best way for him to develop, because it's not nowhere near the finished article, but the best way for him to develop is to keep playing games. He gets better by playing games. Right? He gets better by playing games. So, but when I say we need a goalkeeper, I'm talking about the fact that our goalkeeper department is one of the weakest departments we have at the club. One of the weakest. God forbid if next season you are playing, hopefully we are playing Champions League football. Hopefully we are playing European football, or something happens to Lament. We don't have anything, and that could derail his season, right? So it's just normal that we need to get another goalkeeper. The same scouting that was used in getting Lamen should be employed to getting another goalkeeper, with the sole purpose that goalkeeper would, be someone that is young but promising. It could be in our academy. It could be one of the guys on loan. But that goalkeeper should be somebody that is, a prospect, someone that we can also use to maintain our levels in that goalkeeping department. And not just a goalkeeper, but someone that is comfortable on the legs, someone that is physical enough to deal with the crosses that Bayinde cannot, someone that is physical enough, to come out and claim the ball, someone that, is calm and composed. So we need the qualities that we need in that goalkeeper, but with the sole purpose that this person would be a second choice goalkeeper. And maybe you might look for another 30 plus, close to 40 third choice goalkeeper, or you might even retain Tomitin, depending on how the effect that Tomitin has in the dressing room, right? And I think that would be good. And let Bayinde go. Our department or the goalkeeping department is really very, very weak. And I feel that's one of the things that we need to focus on. It's not going to cost much. Get a goalkeeper of that caliber that is just going to be a second choice, and who knows, might even challenge in terms of being the starter, right? And put Lamens on his feet to keep getting better. So, but let's approach that. Now, secondly, the second area is not a new area. We've said it. I think that is one of the most talked topic we've said many times. Is our midfield. The last game against Fulham, I know, many people are not going to talk about it. I mentioned it, but many people will talk about it. With a 2, with a 3 in midfield, our midfield was still outplayed. And I'm not trying to drive an agenda or what have you. I think the major point here is the midfield is not good enough. That's the major point. Whether you want to paint it in a way or not, that midfield wasn't good enough. It was so easy at certain moments for Fulham to play through us. And we got our 3 points. But the fact is, you have to solve it as soon as possible. And that's the summer. You have to solve it because we will not always get lucky, or we will not always get the opportunity of a kind of Sesco final goal to win games, right? So we need our midfield to be a little bit more, solid in terms of teams like Fulham. I know people are saying Fulham is where they are in the league, but the fact is, a side like Fulham, regardless of their league position, should not be a club. It's not a possession-based side like that. And they shouldn't be having that much time and opportunity on the ball. And even sometimes having the second balls against us, right? So it just shows us again that our midfield needs numbers. And I've said it, regardless of who is the permanent manager for Manchester United, whether it's Michael Carrick, whether it's a new manager you're bringing in, they need midfield. And I think this window should be, I read one thing about what Fabrizio said, in terms of we need midfield, right? This season should be. There are a lot of facets of our games that we cannot go to the next level if we don't get the appropriate midfielders. There are certain areas of our game that we need to improve upon. There are certain risks that will bring much more beauty to our game that we need to be able to embark on. But we will not be able to embark on those risks because our midfield is not solid enough. We'll do the analysis deeper. But let me see one of the analysis now. The first profile, because I believe, I've said it, we should get minimum of 2 midfielders this summer. And I'm very happy that they didn't get any midfielder on loan in the January transfer window. I said it clearly, there's no point getting a loan midfielder. Let's keep every focus till the summer and actually go for what we want. If you're going to do business in the January, let it be people that you have already scouted and you're already aware of, and there's an opportunity, you can go and get them. But it appears the club doesn't want to spend in January, they're looking towards the summer. Good and fine. Now, the first profile. Obviously, Casemiro is leaving. The first profile of midfielder has to be the person to play the number 6. And I've said it that this person doesn't just have to be a destroyer. We should not just go for the typical destroyer. We need somebody comfortable on the ball. We need somebody comfortable in the ball, not just comfortable in passing, which is also very important, comfortable in maintaining the tempo. We need to maintain the tempo in this club. If you look at our games, even the last game, we don't really have the ability to maintain tempo. We don't have, and I think there's no player in our midfield that can help us to dictate the tempo of our game. We need that. Top sides have that. And for us to get back to where we want to be as a top side, we need the kind of profile of midfielder. And we need to look at it in terms of someone that can be defensively solid, someone that can intercept, read ahead of the opponent's play and intercept, but also someone that can help us kill tempo. Because some games, the last game against Fulham was, as we're happy we won, but the fact is, I think after 75 minutes, we're 2-0 up. We should have a way that we can go without 2-0 up. Because, 2-2 came, but we came back, right? But this, the way life is and the way football is, you will not always have that opportunity, right? So if it's 2-0, what can we do to maintain the 2-0? To kill the game, to frustrate for the maybe 15 or 25 minutes, to frustrate the opportunity and the chances of a Fulham side that kept believing after even 2-0, right? So we need to have someone that kills the tempo, someone that not just kills the tempo, but someone that can also do some things that can also help us to even get a third goal or what have you from even the deep, right? We need that. We really need that. So I think that will be very important. Someone that is defensive solid and good in the ball. Second profile, which I've said many times, people that have watched us already know, I have mentioned it many times, is the fact that a lot of our progression in this team is done with the ball. We also need to progress without the ball. There were opportunities in the last game where I saw that we had many ambitious passes, especially in the first half, in terms of Bruno Fernandes trying to hit it long to Mbeumo to try and make something happen. That's not bad. But the fact is, Mbeumo was not able to win the area duels against those Fulham defenders. And I think not many teams in the Premier League have strikers that can win area balls against maybe a Fulham or maybe a Newcastle side, right? But you want to progress your team from having recovered the ball in your half to have a way to play in their own half. We need a ball progressor. We need someone that can actually carry the ball and move forward. Someone that can actually have this piercing movement, into the spine of the opponent. We need that. So the profiles for me still remain the same. It's not because it has never ever been based majorly on a system. It has been based on what we need to have as a top team, right? And the person I'm saying is piercing. It's not just someone that just runs with the ball. It's also someone that has, in the defensive aspect of things, it's someone that, or the possessive part of things, someone that also can have the ball and pass the ball and, be comfortable on the ball, right? We need that. Every Premier League team needs that. A lot of Premier League teams have that. Even Wolves, for example, that is not doing so fine this season, they're just speaking small. The midfield options they have in terms of the quality on the ball is very, very surprising and very, very good. So we need to have a midfielder on the ball that is very, very good. That's the progressor on the ball, very, very good to move with the ball, but also in terms of whenever it's needed to have possession, we need to have that kind of player to have possession, right? Now, defensively, we need midfielders that have it in a natural habit to intercept. We need it. I think it was difficult to also intercept in the last game. I think against Manchester City, we had those interceptions. But I think also in terms of, it's easier for us when we are compact to make those interceptions. But also when we find ourselves in a way where we are a little bit more open, like against Fulham, and we're trying to play or we're trying to high press, we need situations where we have midfielders that even though when we lose the ball, when we've high pressed or when we've tried to attack and we lose the ball and they are coming and we're another compact, we see how people that can, midfielders that can actually, intercept the ball, win the ball based on tackles or interceptions or what have you, or recoveries. We need this. So I think we have to factor this in terms of our midfield. That midfield needs work, regardless of who the manager is, regardless of what the current midfielders do currently. They have to buy midfielders. And my stance on the fact that Emmanuel Ugarte also should leave, right? I've been clear on that. He also has to leave. We need midfielders. We truly need midfielders, right? We need midfielders in that team. And we will not know how good they are until we get midfielders, regardless of who the manager is. Yeah, the profiles might not change depending on if the Carrick is not the manager, but these are the midfielders these are the profiles I believe are necessary. But if there's a new manager that comes in and decides he needs a particular specialist to do something, we'll analyze it. But these are what I believe in terms of the profiles we need. And then now let's go to the third position that is needed in this United side. That is the winger position. And not just a winger position, because now we're back to a system that deals with wingers. We're back to our traditional system systems that accommodate wingers. And so you will need a winger, and also you need a winger on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, a left winger. Right, and now I think that's what has now brought about the news about Marcus Rashford back to United, potential return. We don't know how true that news is, but I will just give my own take on it, really, because I think one of the last episodes I talked about Greenwood, and I gave my opinions on that. For Marcus Rashford, I think it's the same thing I've always said. We know why Marcus Rashford left Manchester United. It wasn't because of any witch hunt. It wasn't because of any bad behavior in terms of maybe this being rude to the manager or what have you, or I think it was just the fact that for Marcus Rashford, for no reason that I can point to. Definitely there are reasons, but I can't point to any of the reasons. We just saw the fact that Rashford wasn't running. The body language of Rashford was very, very off. I think it's important that we remind people, because I've seen some people say, "Oh, we need to bring Rashford back." We need to remind people why, and we need to also understand the fact that the team we have currently, regardless of the up and down, the topsy-turvy games we had under the previous manager, there are clear improvements. Let me give us two with respect to Marcus Rashford. First and foremost, the forwards we have are guys that are willing to run for 90 minutes. When Marcus Rashford was with us, that could not be said of him. Sometimes teams, I remember games, nice. I'm saying it, I remember games that are popping up in my eyes. One was even against Newcastle at Old Trafford, but many other games like that, where teams trying to build up knew that the best place to build up through us was on the right-hand side of their build-up, because if Michael Carrick was there, that wasn't 100% committed. We need a team that is 100% committed, because it doesn't matter how genius you are tactically, it doesn't matter your plan tactically, it doesn't matter the level of your training, the skills of your players. If all players are not giving their 100%, it is never going to work. And I think that's what we saw with Marcus Rashford. Yeah, I know, he's in Barcelona right now and doing well, good and fine. Maybe we should just let him be there. Because these are the things we saw. Now, also, not just even pressing, defensive aspect of things. The last game, for example, we saw the work rate of maybe an Amad Diallo pushing back. When you see our team, this team that we are so happy about, they've made progress in the sense of, for example, defensive transitions was very bad. In terms of what I mean defensive transition. What I mean by that is, when we lose the ball, sometimes we're not quick enough, or we don't have the desire enough to track back and defend. Right? It's clear. But now we see a team that actually they track back. Sometimes you even see wingers or forward tracking back to do the defensive work when we lose the ball on the defensive transition. When Marcus Rashford was there, we could not trust Rashford to track back. And so for me, I believe at the club, we should let certain things go. I understand the fact that there are memories with Marcus Rashford, and somebody can come up and create a clip or maybe 30 minutes clip of Marcus Rashford banking in goals, having a very good performance. Yes. But it's just like you are with your ex-girlfriend as a guy. There will be memories. But also you have to remember the reason why the relationship stopped at one point. And you have to forget and let the girl go. The same way for Marcus Rashford, there will always be memories. Right? Because obviously he had fantastic seasons in the club. And he has been very, very, amazing since the moment he was brought from the academy, right? It was very, very effective. But the fact also is that there are reasons why he left. There are reasons why we were in support of him going. Because I know sometimes, very soon, if that's a plan of the club, they might start some PR to say, oh, he wants the club back, he's training, Marcus loves the club, he has spoken to Carrick, maybe when Carrick is becoming a permanent manager, he wants to come back. I think it's just good that we remind ourselves of why he left the club, essentially why he left the club on loan, right? And I think it's just amazing that we just let him be in Barcelona and enjoy himself there, win the trophies, doing the La Liga there, enjoy himself there, get a new sense of motivation, because he looks as if when he was with us, he has seen it all and maybe he was tired of the environment. He needed a new challenging environment, which obviously the La Liga and Barcelona is offering him currently and will continue to offer him. So that's my take on Marcus Rashford. But obviously, we need a left winger. And I believe the easier route for the board, in terms of not wanting to spend money, will just be to bring Marcus Rashford back and maybe pay his heavy wages. But I think the best way is to start scouting for a left winger. And someone that is not just a left winger in terms of going out wide, but someone that can also go out wide and come in. Because that's what modern football is demanding for now. Not just out and out wide wingers, but also wingers that are out and out wide, but also can play inside, depending on the opponent and depending on where their weaknesses are, right? So guys, these are my opinions on the three profiles or the three areas I believe we need to strengthen. I've said the goalkeeper, I've said obviously the midfield, and I've said the left wing. Now, you can also wonder that the striker position was not mentioned. I think even if Joshua Zexi leaves, I believe the likes of Mbeumo, the likes of Konya can step in there. And because also when you look at Patrick Dogu also as a fantastic as a winger, and who knows, there might be something there, and who knows, he might become a permanent winger for Manchester United, right? So I think we just have to look at all those things and balance it. So I just feel a striker, because even the kind of profile that if Carrick was the manager, the kind of profile Carrick would like as a striker will not be maybe a target man or what have you, right? He might want another variation since Sesko is already available. So instead of if you want to get another variation, why don't you bank on the likes of Mbeumo, bank on the likes of Matheus Cunha? Some games you can even bank on the likes of Bruno to assist in terms of we have seen that many times in terms of a 4-2-4, 4-4-2 off the ball and sometimes even on the ball, right? So I believe that's that for the striker. So, but we need to improve on these three areas, and I think it will be really, really, really amazing. So, guys, I know you have your opinion on what I've just said. Some things, obviously, you might disagree. Some things you would agree. But let's have that discussion as usual in the comment section. Thank you for always sticking with us. We truly appreciate you. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most especially, don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.